Hi, I'm Jason McAteer and you're watching the Redmen TV.
Hello, welcome to the Redmen TV. Backpages Live has been shelved for the month of January because there's transfer bollocks to discuss on a daily basis. So we're going to be here for the vast majority of the days between now and the transfer window shutting at the end of the month. Biggest news this on this fine Tuesday. First and foremost, Marko Grujic is expected to complete his move today. Apparently had his medical at Melwood on Monday, yesterday the 4th. Today it's supposed to be getting announced. At time of filming it hasn't been, but if it is completely announced and it is made absolutely official, and by that I mean a picture of him probably leaning on something, perhaps holding a Liverpool shirt up, or maybe just the official account saying something about it, which would be nice. We will have videos of talking about it and we'll give you everything you need to know about that player. But now we're going to discuss some rumours, because why not? Everyone loves / hates a good rumour, and we'll start with one that is as good as they get. Hello. Ilkay Gundogan, Borussia Dortmund midfield, has been linked with the mighty Reds. Now, it's an interesting one because it's some mad Italian newspaper that's been talking about it, and a sports media set or something. It seemed legit. They had a pop-up advert that seemed to be well graphically designed and stuff. It didn't look like a complete load of bollocks and some kid doing it in his bedroom. But I think the general reports are that Juventus are interested in him, and that the fees being talked about is about £22 million, which seems cheap to me. I don't know. You know, not really. £22 million is a fucking ludicrous amount of money. But in the world of football, for a guy who is that talented, £22 million seems a lot. Seems really cheap, I should say. Obviously, you've got the Klopp connection. Apparently, that's where the crux of this argument's coming from, is that basically what's going to happen is if any Dortmund player is linked with a move to anyone, the natural story that follows will be, well, Klopp's got this connection with the player, so therefore he will be a viable option for Klopp to come in and give him a little bell and say, come on, mate, come play for Liverpool instead. I think he'd be great. It means just to know your thoughts watching home, if you think Gundogan is the kind of player that Liverpool should be targeting. I mean, look, he fits the model, I think, of the players that we should be going for. I think he's 25 years old. He's right there in his best years, with actually several of his best years still to come ahead of him as well. In terms of the profile and the ability he's got, he's an upgrade on, I think, pretty much all of our midfielders. And you could argue, I think there's a case to make that he's better than all our midfielders. I had a quick look into his stats. And, you know, stats can be used to do whatever you want with them. But comparing his stats from last season with Jordan Henderson, because I thought, you know what, he's talked about as being a box-to-box guy, doesn't score a lot of goals, never scored more than 5 in a season, which means he's actually not, he doesn't provide as much of a goal threat as Henderson does. But in terms of, I don't quite know what kind of player. I guess he'd be an upgrade more on Milner or maybe Emre Can, or, you know, or Lucas. Thoughts in the comments below if you would. But in terms of like goals and assists, interceptions, that kind of thing, Henderson's actually a lot better than him. But again, this is a guy's a German international. He's established. He's won things. He's won the league title. He won a German league title under Klopp as well. He's clearly not. I mean, look, ultimately, I think most people would be laughing and scoffing and saying, oh, Jordan Henderson, Ilkay Gundogan. No. But have a look at the stats yourself. If you don't feel that's a fair comparison, that's fair enough. But I thought it was worth comparing what I believe to be our best midfielder with these guys, because if you're not up to that level or better than that level, then kind of what's the point? Although, you know, he is probably better than Milner. He's definitely better than Joe Allen. Sorry, Joe. So, you know, if that's the kind of player we should be moving for, let me know in the comments below. I think if we had to rate this one, doesn't look particularly likely. It does look like newspapers putting 2 and 2 together and saying, well, go ahead, that seems like the kind of story that Liverpool fans would click on. Hey, moving on to another rumour of the day, Max Meyer. Attacking midfielder, winger. He's 20 years old now. Again, he's another kind of player that, to be fair, like if Man City came in and bid for him, everyone would be like, wow, that's an amazing piece of business by City, throwing the cash around, getting this hot young talent. The problem for me is, you know, I had to look at his stats with comparison to Jordan Ive this season, because, you know, you're looking at these kind of players, you know, pacey, can get wide, whatever. He scored 2 more. This is league stats, by the way, and the same for the Henderson ones earlier. 2 goals to Ibes North. They've both got 1 assist each. Meyer's made 16 to interceptions to Ibes 0. You know, take that as you will. Says probably does a little bit more tracking back as well, or does more work in getting the ball back for his team. So if that's an important thing. But again, he's 20 years old, so they're in a similar sort of age. He's not, in terms of what he's producing, although they've played the same number of games, 16 league games each this season, Meyer's played double the minutes, means he's starting and completing a lot more football matches than Jordan Ibe is, which means again he's a more established first team player, which is great, which puts him ahead of the pecking order in that regard. But it's another young, unproven, largely unproven kid, and you know you'd be talking double figures, millions for him. Smart investment for the future potentially, but in terms of like, you know, like a January transfer move, is a player like him the kind of thing that we need to get us going? Because look, he's not scoring loads of goals. I think he scored 5 or something, 5, 6 or 7, whatever last season. Decent return, but again, doesn't look like he's the kind of guy who's going to come in and be it necessarily for Liverpool. But again, interested in your thoughts. Is he good? Is he good on Football Manager? We bought Football Manager this week. We'll be looking at doing it. We're going to be doing some Football Manager scouting, I feel, this month to really round out our football knowledge. But let's know your thoughts. The only last one is, obviously, this is from yesterday, the day before. Jurgen Klopp said there'll be no bid for Andre ter Stegen, the Barcelona, essentially European Cup / backup goalkeeper, which is a shame. 23 years old. He's got, again, he's the kind of goalkeeper I think we should be targeting. Look, he's good enough to play for Barcelona in the Champions League, that he's definitely good enough to play for us. Now, the question's always going to remain is, if he's that good, why is he not forced himself to be the absolute first choice goalkeeper for Barcelona? I think there's been injury concerns along the way. What's an interesting one is obviously Klopp keeps coming out and saying, no, our goalkeeping situation's fine. And so it leads me to believe that as much as we'd like to see a goalkeeper come in January, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think there will be one coming in the summer. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see us do something very similar to what Rafa Benitez did, bringing in, you know, when he brought in Pepe Reina at the end of his first season. I think he'll do for now, although we're not exactly thrilled with a lot of Mignolet's performances. But you know, I think if he's going to improve one area of the team, I don't think he's going to spend his money, because you'd have to spend good money, I think, to get a really good goalkeeper at this point. I don't think he's going to spend what limited money he has strengthening the goalkeeper position. I think there's other areas that could do with that money being spent on it. I mean, just know your thoughts on that. Where should Liverpool, I've said this on another show, I've reportedly got like a £20 million war chest or whatever for January. I think Chris Baskin was reporting that. If you could buy, well, you know, if I name you some names, if you could buy one player for that, who would it be? But if you want a more general sense, what position would that be? If you could splash it all, if you could spunk all that cash on one position, what position would that be? Also interested to know, I'm going to be building up a little bit of a profile. In terms of the positions that you think Liverpool need to strengthen, what type of attributes do you feel those players need? Let us know all that in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, of course, and we'll have more live in the future, potentially, and more daily transfer news and rumour updates throughout the month.
Probably the biggest.
It kind of felt like 13, 14 again then.
Yeah.
It was the sort of, it was the intensity that the team started with, wasn't it? You know, first 20 minutes, they really set